Ken Paxton, Center, the Texas Attorney General, called the ruling outrageous. Melissa Phillip, Houston Chronicle, via Associated Press. Houston, a federal judge blocked Texas from enforcing its revamped voter identification law on Wednesday, ruling that the state legislature's attempt to loosen the law did not go far enough and perpetuated discrimination against Black and Hispanic voters. The decision was only the latest chapter in a years-long court battle over the state's voter ID rules, and comes amid concerted efforts by the Trump administration to enact tougher voting restrictions. The stakes are particularly high for Texas as a result of previous court rulings. The state could be forced to undergo federal oversight of its election procedures. The judge, Nelva Gonzalez Ramos, of the United States District Court for the Southern District of Texas, had previously found that the original law, one of the most restrictive in the nation, was passed in 2011 with the intent to discriminate against Blacks and Hispanics. It required voters to show one of 7 forms of government-issued photo identification, such as a driver's license or passport, before casting a ballot. The Republican-controlled legislature softened the law, in response to legal challenges and court rulings, by allowing potential voters to sign an affidavit and show more widely available types of identification, including a utility bill or a bank statement. The new law, known as Senate Bill 5, was set to take effect in January, despite complaints from critics that it created criminal penalties for those who made false claims about needing to use alternate IDs. In her ruling, Judge Ramos noted that the retooled law still barred voters from showing state or federal employee ID cards, because those who lacked the accepted forms of identification were subjected to separate voting obstacles and procedures. Judge Ramos wrote, SB 5's methodology remains discriminatory because it imposes burdens disproportionately on Blacks and Latinos. On Wednesday, the Democratic lawmakers and civil rights groups that sued Texas over the law hailed the decision as one of several recent court victories in the case. One of the groups involved in the suit, the NAACP Legal Defense and Educational Fund, said Texas had spent at least $3.5 million defending the law as of June 2016. Judge Ramos' decision recognizes that a state cannot escape the consequences of its pernicious conduct without completely eliminating all vestiges of discrimination, said Kristen Clark, the president and executive director of the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights Under Law, whose group was one of several that sued Texas. Texas vowed to appeal the ruling, noting that the revamped voter ID law had the support of the Justice Department under Jeff Sessions. Today's ruling is outrageous, the Texas Attorney General, Ken Paxton, said in a statement, adding, the U.S. Department of Justice is satisfied that the amended voter ID law has no discriminatory purpose or effect. Republican officials, including Gov. Greg Abbott, who defended the law in court when he served as Attorney General, have long maintained that the ID rules were necessary to prevent voter fraud. Democrats and other critics of the law said the law was part of an effort to make it harder for Democratic-leaning Black and Hispanic voters to cast ballots in the state. Jim Crow-era tactics have kept Texas Republicans in power, Gilberto Hinojosa, the chairman of the Texas Democratic Party, said in a statement. Judge Ramos not only tossed out the revamped voter ID law, but also struck down the original version, known as Senate Bill 14. She did not rule on whether Texas election laws would be put under federal oversight, but said she would consider the issue during the next phase of the case. A version of this article appears in print on August 24, 2017, on page A13 of the New York edition with the headline Federal Judge Rejects a Revised Voter ID Law in Texas.